She smirked on our late-night call and said, "I only dated you to beat my sister," and admitted she only started dating me to get revenge on her sister. "I don't know how to process this," she told me during a video call, that I was just part of her plan to hurt someone else. I am Kale Thorne, 24 years old, and I honestly don't know if I am overreacting or if what just happened is as messed up as it feels. I have been dating Zyra for about 8 months now. We live in the same city, both have decent jobs, and I thought we had something real going. She has been staying at her sister Lyra's place for the past week, helping with some family stuff, and we have been keeping in touch through FaceTime and texting. Last night we were on a video call. Just normal relationship stuff, talking about our days, making plans for when she gets back, that kind of thing. She seemed a little off, maybe a bit tipsy, but I figured she was just tired, or had been drinking with her sister. Then out of nowhere, she said something that completely blindsided me. "You know, Kale, I should probably tell you something. When I first started flirting with you, it wasn't really about you." I asked what she meant, thinking maybe she was going to say she was shy or nervous or something normal. I was trying to make Leora jealous. She has always gotten everything. Better job, nicer apartment, all the family attention. So when I saw how she looked at you that time we all hung out, I decided to go for it. I just stared at the phone screen. "What do you mean you decided to go for it?" "I mean, I made it my mission to get you to like me instead of her. It was supposed to show her that I could get something she wanted for once." I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. 8 months of what I thought was genuine connection, and she is telling me it started as some kind of sibling rivalry game. So our entire relationship is based on you trying to one-up your sister. Well, no, not anymore. I mean, I do like you now. But yeah, initially it was about proving a point to Lyra. I asked her if Leora even knew I existed before that, because I honestly couldn't remember any clear signs that she was interested in me. She mentioned you were cute when we ran into you at that coffee shop. That is all I needed. That is all she needed. A casual comment from her sister about me being cute was enough for her to decide to pursue me as some kind of trophy. I told her I needed to think about this and ended the call. I have been sitting here for hours trying to figure out how to feel about it. On one hand, she says she actually likes me now. On the other hand, every memory I have of our early relationship, the flirting, the first dates, the moment I thought we were connecting, was all calculated manipulation to hurt someone else. Is this something couples can work through? Or is starting a relationship for revenge such a fundamental betrayal that there is no coming back from it? I keep replaying every interaction we have had, wondering what was real and what was just part of her plan. I feel like an idiot for not seeing it. I feel used. But I also cannot tell if I am being too sensitive about something that happened months ago when she says her feelings have changed since then. Has anyone dealt with something like this before? How do you rebuild trust when the foundation of your relationship was a lie? Edit. Thanks for all the responses. Reading them is helping me process this. A lot of you are pointing out red flags I might have missed. Edit 2. Several people asking about Leora. I barely know her. We have met maybe 3 times total, always in group settings. I never got any indication she was interested in me romantically. Edit 3. The more I think about it, the more I realize how calculated some of Zyra's early behavior was. Things that seemed spontaneous or sweet might have been strategic. Update 1. I have been getting a lot of messages asking for an update. So here it is. I wish I could say things got better after my last post, but they definitely didn't. After reading all your comments, I decided I needed to have a serious conversation with Zyra about what she had told me. I spent 2 days thinking about what I wanted to say and how to approach it without just exploding on her. Yesterday morning I sent her a text. "We need to talk about what you told me the other night. Can we FaceTime when you have time?" She called me about an hour later. And right away I could tell she was in damage control mode. "Kale, I have been thinking about our conversation, and I think you might have misunderstood what I was trying to say." I told her I understood perfectly. She had started dating me to get revenge on her sister. It wasn't revenge. It was more like proving myself. You know how competitive siblings can be. I asked her to explain the difference because from where I am sitting, using me to hurt her sister sounds like revenge regardless of what she calls it. Look, maybe my motivations weren't pure at the beginning, but that doesn't change how I feel about you now. Lots of relationships start for silly reasons and turn into something real. Silly reasons. Zyra, you used me as a weapon against your sister. That is dramatic. I saw an opportunity to show Leora that I could get a guy she found attractive, so I took it. It is not like I was trying to destroy her life. The casualness in her voice when she said that was chilling. She really saw nothing wrong with treating me like a prize to be won in some competition I didn't even know was happening. Did it work? I asked. Did what work? Did dating me hurt Lyra the way you wanted it to? She was quiet for a moment. She was surprised when she found out we were together, and maybe a little jealous. But she got over it. How do you know she was jealous? She asked a lot of questions about you at first, like how we met, how long we had been dating, that stuff. She seemed kind of put out that I was with someone she had noticed first. So Leora had been hurt by this. My relationship with Zyra had successfully caused pain to someone who had done nothing wrong except make an offhand comment about me being attractive. Zyra, do you understand that you used me to emotionally manipulate your sister? I didn't manipulate anyone. I just dated someone I was attracted to. The fact that it bothered Lyra was just a bonus. You literally just told me the whole thing started because you wanted to prove a point to her. Okay, fine. Maybe that was part of it initially. But Kale, that was 8 months ago. What matters is how we feel about each other now. I asked her if she would have pursued me at all if Leora had never mentioned finding me attractive. Long pause. I don't know. Probably not immediately, but I might have eventually. So our entire relationship exists because you wanted to hurt your sister. Stop saying I wanted to hurt her. It wasn't about hurting anyone. It was about proving I could have something she wanted. By taking it away from her? She never had you. She just thought you were cute. But you made sure she couldn't have me by getting to me first. Another pause. Kale, you are making this way more complicated than it needs to be. Yeah, maybe I had mixed motives at first, but I fell for you for real. Isn't that what matters? I told her I didn't think I could trust feelings that started as manipulation, even if they would supposedly evolved into something genuine. So you are just going to throw away 8 months because you don't like how it started. I am trying to figure out if there is anything real to throw away, or if I have been living in a fantasy this whole time. She got frustrated then. This is ridiculous. Every couple has stories about weird ways they got together. In 10 years, this will just be a funny story about how competitive I was with my sister. A funny story about how you used me. I didn't use you. We had fun together. We care about each other. We have great chemistry. Just because it started unconventionally doesn't mean it is not real. That is when something clicked for me. She genuinely didn't see anything wrong with what she had done. In her mind, the ends justified the means. And since she claimed to have real feelings now, I should just be grateful and move on. I told her I needed more time to think. How much time? Because I am supposed to come home tomorrow, and I would like to know if I still have a boyfriend. The way she said it, like she was inconvenienced by having to wait for me to process being used as a pawn in her family drama, told me everything I needed to know. I think you have your answer, I said, and hung up. My phone has been buzzing with texts from her ever since, alternating between apologies and accusations that I am being overdramatic. She is supposed to fly back tonight, and I am honestly dreading the inevitable confrontation. I keep thinking about Leora and how she must have felt watching her sister date someone she had shown interest in. I keep thinking about all the times Zyra was affectionate with me in front of her family, and whether those moments were about me or about making sure Lyra saw. I feel sick thinking that someone I cared about saw me as a tool to hurt other people. Edit. A lot of people asking if I am going to reach out to Leora. I am considering it, but I don't want to make things worse for her. Edit 2. Zyra's been texting me every few hours. The messages are getting more desperate and angry. I think she is starting to realize I am serious about this update too. This whole situation has spiraled into something I never could have imagined. Zyra came back to town 3 days ago, and what followed has been honestly exhausting and eye-opening. First, she showed up at my apartment unannounced the night she got back. I heard knocking around 9 p.m. and found her standing in my hallway with flowers and takeout from my favorite restaurant. I brought dinner, she said, like nothing had happened. We need to talk this through properly. I told her I wasn't ready to talk yet. Kale, come on. I flew back early just to fix this. The least you can do is hear me out. I almost let her in, because that is what I would have done before. But something about the way she assumed she could just show up and smooth things over bothered me. I said I need time to think. That means time away from you. How much time? A day? A week? I cannot just sit around waiting while you decide whether our relationship is worth saving. Our relationship was built on a lie, Zyra. It is going to take more than dinner and flowers to fix that. She got upset then. It wasn't a lie. My feelings for you are real. Just because they started for complicated reasons doesn't make them fake, but it makes me question everything. Every memory, every moment. I thought we were connecting. I don't know what was genuine and what was performance. All of it was genuine. Maybe I had ulterior motives at first, but once I got to know you, it became real. I asked her when exactly it became real. When did she stop seeing me as a way to hurt her sister and start seeing me as a person she actually cared about? She couldn't give me a specific answer. It happened gradually. I don't remember an exact moment. So for how long was I just a tool to you? A month? 3 months? 6 months? You were never just a tool, but I was partly a tool. Fine. Yes. Initially you were partly about proving something to Lyra, but that changed. I told her to leave, and after another 15 minutes of arguing, she finally did. The next morning, I decided to text Leora. I had been going back and forth about it, but I felt like she deserved to know what had been done to both of us. Hi Leora, this is Kyle. I hope this isn't weird, but I found out something about why Zyra started dating me that I think you should know. Could we talk sometime? She called me within an hour. Is this about her trying to make me jealous? She asked right away. I was stunned. You knew, I suspected. The timing was weird, and she kept making sure I saw how happy you two were together. Plus, she has always been competitive with me about guys always. Since we were teenagers, if I mentioned liking someone, she'd suddenly be interested in them too. I thought she had grown out of it. I felt even worse hearing this. Zyra had a pattern of using men to compete with her sister, and I was just the latest victim. I am sorry, I told Leora. I had no idea I was being used to hurt you. You weren't used to hurt me, Kale. You were used to make her feel better about herself. There is a difference. We talked for about an hour, and Leora told me stories about previous times Zyra had pulled similar stunts. Apparently, she had done this with jobs too, applying for positions just because Leora had expressed interest in them. The thing is, Leora said, I wasn't even that interested in you romantically. I mean, you seem nice, but I just thought you were cute. I never would have pursued it. She said you seemed jealous when she told you we were dating. I was confused, not jealous, and maybe a little hurt that she had done it again. But I got over it because I figured if she was happy, that was what mattered. After we hung up, I felt this weird mix of validation and sadness. Validation because it confirmed that Zyra's behavior was part of a pattern, but sadness because I realized how much energy and emotion I had invested in something that was never really about me. That evening, Zyra showed up again. This time she was crying. Leora told me you two talked. How could you go behind my back like that? I wanted her to know what you had done, what I had done. I dated someone I was attracted to. That is not a crime. You dated someone specifically to hurt your sister, and you lied to me about your motivations for 8 months. I never lied. I just didn't explain the whole complicated situation. We argued for another hour. She kept insisting that her current feelings were real, and that should be enough to overcome the deceptive beginning. I kept trying to explain that trust, once broken, doesn't just magically repair itself because the person claims to have changed. The conversation ended with her accusing me of being rigid and unforgiving, and me telling her that I couldn't be with someone who saw other people as chess pieces in their family drama. Yesterday I got a long text from her saying she was done trying to fix things and that I was making a huge mistake. She said I had never found anyone who cared about me as much as she did, and that I was too stubborn to recognize real love when I had it. The irony of that last part wasn't lost on me. Today, I canceled my membership at the gym where she works part-time. I also unfriended her on social media and deleted her number from my phone. I am done giving her opportunities to manipulate the situation, or me. I keep thinking about what Leora said, that this wasn't about hurting her. It was about making Zyra feel better about herself. that somehow makes it worse. I wasn't even important enough to be the real target of her scheme. I was just collateral damage in her quest for self-validation. Edit. Thank you to everyone who has been following this and offering support. It helps to know I am not crazy for feeling betrayed. Edit 2. A few people have asked about Lyra and whether we might date now. No, and honestly that would be weird given the circumstances. She seems like a good person, but I need time to rebuild my trust in people before I even think about dating again. Final update. I wanted to post a final update because I think there are some lessons here that might help other people. And because enough time has passed that I can see the situation more clearly. First, after I cut contact with Zyra, she continued trying to reach me through various means for about a month. Text messages from different numbers, messages through mutual friends, even showing up at places she knew I frequented. The messages followed a pretty predictable pattern. Anger. You are throwing away the best thing that ever happened to you. Guilt. After everything I did for you. This is how you repay me. Bargaining cannot. We just try couples therapy. And false hope. I know you still love me. You just need time. What struck me was that none of her messages actually acknowledged why what she had done was wrong. Even her apologies were qualified. I am sorry you feel hurt by this. Rather than I am sorry I used you to hurt my sister. About 6 weeks after our final conversation, I heard through mutual friends that she had started dating someone new. Someone who, according to these friends, Lyra had previously mentioned being interested in. The pattern was repeating itself. I reached out to Lyra to give her a heads up, and she wasn't surprised. She is doing it again, isn't she? Lyra said when I called her. It looks like it. I figured as much. She introduced me to him at a family dinner last week and kept watching my reaction. When I didn't seem bothered, she looked almost disappointed. Are you bothered? Not anymore. I have learned to stop mentioning when I find guys attractive around Zyra. It just gives her ideas. That conversation helped me understand something important. This was never really about me. I wasn't special or particularly desirable. I was just convenient. Zyra didn't choose me because of who I was as a person. She chose me because I was someone her sister had noticed. It is a humbling realization, but also a freeing one. It means the rejection isn't personal, and it means I didn't lose something real. My therapist, yes. I started seeing someone to help process this. It helped me understand that being trusting isn't a character flaw. When someone presents themselves as genuine and caring, it is normal to take them at face value. The problem wasn't that I trusted too easily. It was that Zyra exploited that trust. She also helped me notice some patterns in Zyra's behavior that I had previously dismissed as mere quirks, but which were actually red flags. For instance, she always seemed to compete with other women, even in casual social situations. Moreover, she constantly brought up her sister, usually in ways that made Leora look bad. In addition, she had a need to be the center of attention in group settings, and she would get upset whenever I didn't seem jealous when other men showed interest in her. None of these things seemed like deal breakers at the time, but together they painted a picture of someone who saw relationships as competitions to be won rather than connections to be nurtured. I have been dating again recently, casually, nothing serious. But I am much more aware now of how people talk about their past relationships, how they handle conflict, and whether they seem to view other people as full human beings or as supporting characters in their own story. As for Zyra, I heard through the grapevine that her new relationship didn't last long. Apparently, when it became clear that Leora wasn't jealous or hurt by it, she lost interest quickly. I felt bad for the guy, but I also felt validated. It confirmed that her feelings were never really about the men themselves. I also heard that some of our mutual friends have started to see through her behavior. When you use people as pawns enough times, eventually people notice the pattern. The strangest part of this whole experience is that I am almost grateful it happened. Not grateful for the pain or the betrayal, but grateful that I learned these lessons at 24 rather than at 34 or 44. I learned to recognize emotional manipulation, to trust my instincts when something feels off, and to understand that genuine love doesn't require you to be a weapon against someone else. I also learned something about forgiveness. I don't hate Zyra, and I don't wish bad things for her. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean giving someone another opportunity to hurt you. It just means letting go of the anger so it doesn't poison your future relationships. I am in a much better place now. I have better boundaries, healthier relationships, and a clearer understanding of what I will and will not accept from people. In the end, Zyra taught me exactly what I don't want in a partner. And that is valuable knowledge too. Sometimes the most important lessons come from the people who hurt us. I just wish they didn't have to hurt so much while we are learning them. Edit. A few people have asked if I think Zyra will ever change. I hope she will, but that is not my responsibility anymore. People can only change if they recognize there is a problem. And I don't think she ever truly understood why using people as pawns is wrong.